Hi Pisces, welcome to your reading. And this is a reading for Pisces Sun, Moon, and Rising for November 2021. And keep in mind that this is a general reading, so it might not resonate with all of you out there. And if it doesn't, feel free to check your other placements here in the channel as well. And Pisces, have been thinking a lot about your zodiac and the role that Scorpio is playing this month, okay? And because I have been talking to all the zodiacs about Scorpio this month, because we have a lot of action going on in the sign of Scorpio. We had a new moon in the 4th, and it was opposing Uranus in Taurus. And now, 2 days ago, we had Mars conjunct to Mercury in the beginning of Scorpio in a perfect square with Saturn in Aquarius. And Saturn right now, Aquarius rules your 12th house, so Saturn is in your 12th house, and Scorpio rules your natural 9th house, okay? So first we had that new moon there. So the new moon happening in the 9th house, picking up the 9th house and the 3rd house, with Uranus transiting your 3rd house. And the 9th house is the house of higher learning, of exploration, of travels, of foreign lands, and the higher mind. And the 3rd house is the house of how we think, how we organize ourselves, how we do the day-to-day thinking, our thinking processes. So when we have this new moon in the 9th house, we want to transform. How do we think about things? How do we interpret people around us? How do we interpret information? And how can we use that to transform our philosophies, our way of seeing the world, our way of really connecting with the world, our philosophies, our personal philosophies? Okay, so this new moon is all about learning. How can you grow as a better human being? By transforming your outdated ways of thinking. How do you interpret that? So that's an interesting process now this month. And then more than that, as I said, we had Mars conjunct to Mercury in the 9th house in Scorpio, making a perfect square to Saturn. And Saturn is your 12th house. And 12th house is the house of the unconscious patterns, of the unconscious thoughts. So while the 3rd house, actually the 12th, the 3rd and the 9th house, they are very connected. But the 3rd house is the day-to-day thinking. How we rapidly process the information that we receive, the things that we hear. The 9th house is how do we take it to a higher place, how we develop that into our own philosophies, how do we grow and expand ourselves from that. And the 12th house is our unconscious patterns or habitual patterns and things that shape how we go on through our daily lives, how we act, how we think, and we don't even know because they are so unconscious. They are those patterns imprinted in us from our upbringing, from the people in our early environment. And we are combining all that. And with Saturn moving in the 12th house, we are really transforming that unconscious mind. We are really transforming that. We are reshaping that. We are giving it form. We are actually uncovering those secrets. And that is impacting how we process information. How do we talk? How do we communicate? How do we interpret other people's communication? Do we take it personally? Do we see it objectively? How do we do that? So, yeah, it's very mental, but it's also a transformation that is really taking you to a bigger place. Because the 9th house is the house of the bigger thing, the bigger you, the bigger mind. So let's take a look at your cards. Let's see the cards that represent you this month and also the cards that represent your environment. So you, wow, you're coming up as the strength. I do think that with this process of Saturn in the 12th it really is strengthening you, because this is all about the strength archetype. In this card, in the Rider-Waite, she's closing the mouth of a lion, and the lion is our lower nature. Is the lion represents those patterns, those behaviors that don't really serve us, but that we have acquired at a very early age. And now that we have the power to tame that lion, we can do that. So with Saturn at 12, you have been doing that work. And now Jupiter is going to move into Pisces. So now that you can really expand yourself as a person, as your place, find your place in the world and expand that. Really connect with who you are and with a more authentic version of yourself, because you are getting rid of those limiting beliefs, of those programming that you have acquired growing up. You're getting rid of those with Saturn in there. And then with Jupiter moving into Pisces, you are being able to connect with yourself more authentically. You're getting rid of the layers. You're peeling out those layers to find out who you truly are inside, which is something that is very hard for Pisces, because Pisces, being ruled by Neptune and being ruled, the ruler of the 12th house, is all about the collective unconscious. Pisces merges with the collective. It's very hard for Pisces to find who they are as an individual. It dissolves itself in the mist. It's like a chameleon. For instance, I don't know if you know this information, but many actors, they have strong Pisces or Neptunian places, because it's easier for them to pretend to be someone else. I'm not saying that Pisces pretend to be someone else. That's not what I mean. But it's easier for them to have this chameleonic nature of merging and melting into something else, into someone else, because they are always changing and dissolving. So this whole process, Pisces, is for you to actually find out who is Pisces. Who are you as an individual? So I love the Strength card coming here for you. It's very powerful omen. So the environment, wow, this is beautiful. Ace of Wands. I think that this is a perfect combination of you finding your strength and receiving the opportunity. There is this opportunity being offered to you to find yourself, to connect with yourself, to grab it. And with the strength, you also have the personal power to tame that lion. You have the personal power to grab this transformation and to grab this opportunity. So I can't wait to see what this month is saving for you. Let's see. High Priestess, and it's your card, so you are coming out here in your archetype, which is great. Okay, Seven of Wands, Queen of Swords in the reverse, the Fool in the reverse, the Chariot in the reverse. Okay, Four of Swords, Knight of Cups, Judgment, and the Magician in the reverse. Wow, okay. It's interesting that I just said all this, and actually the reading is contradicting me a bit, to be honest. But I like to see how it is contradicting that, because there is a dichotomy here of how I see you really pondering. That's the thing. I think that this month you are really pondering, because with the High Priestess here and the Seven of Wands, the High Priestess, she moves very slowly and she needs to see everything. This is a card of Pisces, but for me this is also quite Scorpionic. This is looking into the depths and understand everything that is lurking in there, everything that is in the background. She wants to uncover all the mysteries. It's seeing all the hidden information. And you know that for you to be completely aware of all the aspects of whatever this opportunity here is, okay? Because this is an opportunity being given to you. You know that you need time and you need to observe. You need observation skills, because you want to tackle one thing at a time. I feel like you don't want to be overwhelmed with surprises at this moment. So the strength, right? You also want to be in the control of the situation. You want to know that you can handle it. You want to know that you can handle it. So you don't want surprises. You want to be able to attack and to tackle one at a time. And for that, you need to sit back and watch and wait a little bit. So with the Queen of Swords here, I see that your energy is very contained and very risk averse. Because the Queen of Swords, she does not fear. She cuts through it. She goes after it. She's a monarch. And she's a very, very powerful queen. But with the Queen of Swords in the reverse, I think you're lacking that authority and that strength to go after it. But not because you're weak. Because also you are coming out as a strength here, but because you are coming from a place in which you need to be sure. You want to observe everything before you risk yourself. The Fool in the reverse. And also the Chariot in the reverse. Pulling out the brakes. You don't want to jump head in. Hold your horses. You want to move slowly. Again, Four of Swords. Actually, I see every card just confirming each other. It's just the same message being repeated here over and over again. The Four of Swords. You want to ponder. You want to sit on it and watch it first. So the Chariot, you don't want fast movement. You don't want to just trust, also with the Fool in the reverse. You don't want to just trust and jump on it. You want to be sure. You want to be sure. But I'm going to tell you, Pisces, that even though this is a very good quality of holding back, of watching, of being sure, I would tell you to really be careful not to miss this opportunity. Because there is an opportunity coming here for you with the Knight of Cups. This is the same opportunity as this Ace of Wands here. And it's time for you to receive it. It's something that you have been waiting for. This is your reward that is coming from the Judgment. This is the reward. But if you ponder so much, if you hold yourself back so much, you might miss it. You might end up not concretizing it. So even though I like you being contained, I like you pondering, I like you not taking unnecessary risks, there is a difference between slowing down and completely standing still. You need some momentum here. Okay? There are just too many active cards in the reverse. I would have liked to see one of them, maybe just this Queen of Swords, or maybe just this Fool. But when I see all of these, I'm going to repeat what I just said, because I think it really exemplifies the energy that I'm getting from this reading. There is a difference between moving slowly and standing still. And I think that with the Chariot in the reverse, right in the middle of your reading, I think that you risk standing still. And as I said, you have the strength for it. You have the strength to take it. That new moon in Sagittarius, that new moon in Scorpio, in your 9th house, wants you to expand, wants you to grow. 9th house is about expanding. It's a house ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is the biggest planet in the solar system, and it's made of gas. It's huge. It's massive. It makes everything it touches bigger. So with that new moon going on in that 9th house, it's time to be bigger. It's time to accept it. It's time to go after it. It's time to take that Ace of Wands. It's time to jump out of that cliff. Yes, of course, you can be careful with the 7 of Wands. You can watch the situation. You can be wise. You can ponder with that 4 of Swords, but I just see too much standing still, too much inactivity here, too much fear. It's time to risk a little bit. Okay, Pisces? And I have I had much longer readings for everybody, and yours is gonna be a bit shorter, so I'm sorry for that, but it's just that it's very straightforward. There's not much more for me to tell you here. I said everything that I had to say. So let's get some oracle cards for you. And first I'm gonna get an animal spirit with what is the energy that you can embody this month to better get through this month, okay? So what is the energy that you need to bring for yourself here? And we got the elephant. The elephant is a very wise energy, but it doesn't stop, and it's very powerful. The elephant, it keeps moving, and it's strong enough to pass through anything that it faces. That's also why it's not fearful, because it knows it has the power, but it also has the memory. So it learned from past mistakes, it learned from previous situations, and it's time for you to trust what you learned. You don't need to be so afraid of jumping in here for fear that you might get hurt, that you might fail. You can trust that you learned what you had to learn, and that you will not fall in the same, and you will not make the same mistakes again. You will not fall in the same situations again. You are wiser now. And you do have the power and the strength to get through it, to move through life. So you can be fearless here. Because the elephant is a very gentle energy. Even though it's huge and it's powerful and it could destroy anything in its way, it's almost fearful sometimes, you know? So the elephant here really needs to acknowledge its size and its strength. The energy is gaining momentum. And I just talked about momentum, right? So whatever is coming here for you, this Knight of Cups and the Ace of Wands, it's really gaining momentum. There is really something coming in for you, but it's up to you to jump and grab it. Be careful, be thoughtful. You don't need to take unnecessary risks, but don't stand still. Don't let it pass. Grab it when it comes. Koi fish spirit, there is always enough. And I want to get one more. Dove spirit, be peace. I think that you can be much more optimistic at this moment. Don't focus so much on what can go wrong. Have a bit of optimism of what can come right. What can this give you? You don't need to be so guarded. Even though we didn't get any guarded card here, like the Nine of Wands, I do feel you very guarded. Okay, Pisces? So it's really time to open up a bit and be a bit more receptive to whatever is trying to come into your life here. Don't let it miss you. And just trust you are coming out as the strength. You can deal with this. You can deal with the situation. Okay, you can trust yourself in it. Okay, Pisces? So that's all I have for you this month, and I hope you enjoyed your reading. And if you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe down below. And I'll see you next month. Take care and bye-bye.